Hi everyone, it's just me again. I told you I was going to keep up on my videos, so I am. This is Suprieto, So What, and more. I have a young lady who purchased a sewing machine for me not too long ago, and she is brand spanking new at this, and I'm excited for her. So I asked this young lady, and this is a shout out to Taylor, hey Taylor, in Detroit. She never having really used a sewing machine. This is like her very first sewing machine. It's so awesome. She asked for a video to help her get familiar with the sewing machine, how it works, that kind of thing. And we talked a lot about what kind of machine that she would need, and I asked her what she was going to be making and what she aspired to make. And she just wants to start with something basic. The best basic thing I could suggest to her was throw pillows. Throw pillows are either rectangular, they're square, all straight lines, real super simple. So for something like that, all you need is a straight and zigzag machine. And what's the best sewing machine? That's very subjective. It depends on how far you plan on going with the projects that you're going to do with your sewing machine. So like for me, I have probably too many, but they all have their functions for me. I have different sergers for different things, and I have different sewing machines for different functions, different types of fabric. So first thing, and for you Taylor, the machine that you got, the Singer, is perfect for you for a beginner. It's not super fancy. And a lot of the vintage, old heavy-duty sewing machines are the same way. Some of them will have some embroidery kind of stitches in there that you can use to do a little bit of decorative work, but on the whole, it's a straight and zigzag. Best thing about the older heavy-duty machines is they're solid metal. And it takes a lot to really break one, honestly. It really does. I haven't broken one yet, and I've been doing this over 40 years. So what I have on my table today is in the headband bonnet style part 2. You got to see me use my Kenmore vintage machine. Straight zigzag buttonhole, that's it. That's all it has. This is a JCPenney Vogue Stitch sewing machine. Has the same kind of thing. Straight, zigzag. There are some decorative stitches in here, but not a lot. I think there's like 5. So that would be great for a beginner also, and would last forever. I mean, it's still here. Look at it. It's gorgeous. It's like brand spanking new. Back here, I have what's called an Elna. Now, an Elna is actually made by Janome, which I found out. I didn't realize that. I'd never used an Elna, and I love this machine. This is now granted, it's a newer machine. Yes, it's plastic, but it's the engineering in these. I think they're Scandinavian, but Janome makes great sewing machines. Yes, they are pricey. They are very expensive, but you get what you pay for. That's the way I look at it. And this one has your 3-step button holder. Has like 5 decorative stitches and 5 straight or zigzag stitches. So another great beginner machine. It's a great thing for this one because a lot of these machines are now have the dual posts, the spool pins, and so when you see those, if you think that you might be doing top stitching on, say, some jeans, that's when you'd use the double needle, and that's what that's for, so that you can use a double needle. So you put 2 spools of thread, you thread them through the same needle at the same time. Well, the twin needle ones, you put both threads through, and then one thread through one needle, one through the other, and then the 2 needles stitch in tandem. If that makes sense. Anyway, so since this is an older Singer, we want to use this for Taylor's benefit. When you get your machine, there's some controversy about whether to have a machine with an upright thread pin or a horizontal. A lot of people don't like the horizontal, and you'll notice that the majority of your machines that are being made nowadays is horizontal. And I think the reason for that is when you're putting on your thread, where the thread was tucked in or tied off, whatever you want to call it, there's a little plastic cut in the spool. That's the notch, and you pull that thread out to get it started. People forget that notch can break your thread very quickly when you are using it on your sewing machine, whether it's horizontal or vertical. Vertical people like vertical for the main reason, it doesn't matter where that is typically, that little notch. They don't have as much breakage because it's sitting this way and it just pulls it as it goes. Whereas horizontal, you have to be real careful. You want to make sure that notch is facing the back side, towards the back. So, when you get your machine, very first thing, read your manual. If I had provided you the manual on a PDF form on a disc, you can print it out, or you can put it on your computer and take notes of what you need to do. I've gotten machines with it on a disc, and I just pop it in the computer and print it out because I like to have my hands on it. I like to physically look at it that way instead of looking at it on the screen. Just one of my pet peeves, I guess. So you will have sewing machines that, well, I call it either thread right-handed or left-handed. I'm a lefty, so that's why I do that. On most of the Singers that I am aware of, that I've used, except for I think there was one model and I don't remember the model number, when you take your thread from the spool pin, there's usually a guide on top that you snap the thread into. You have to have that thread in there or your stitches are going to be terrible. You snap it into there, and you come over to this portion of the sewing machine, and sometimes you'll have this little ball on top, like here on the ulna, and sometimes it's going to be right above where the arm is, the needle arm. Now on this one, this is a left-handed machine because predominantly sewing machines thread from the right to the left. So on the ulna you go from here to there. On the Singer you come through here, go down to the bottom, come back up, put it through the thread arm right there, and you come back down. You're going to have a hook spot in the front, typically down here, and then there's another one, which I don't have a flashlight to show you, but you have another